In my opinion, withholding scientific data constitutes fraud. This is scientific fraud, in my opinion. If I was to publish a study in which I had a large body of epidemiologic data and I decided to only publish part of it because I wanted to advance some agenda, I would be guilty of scientific fraud. The paper would be withdrawn. I would be kicked out of my academic institution. I would be guilty of scientific fraud. That's what this is. And the CDC I've watched it over the years become more and more and more a political arm and not serving its function. This is the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. They are the archive of information which physicians have relied on for decades through the MMWR publication. They are the ones that are responsible for providing us the frontline data about what's going on and where it's happening. They have stopped performing that function. They no longer release that detailed information through MMWR. They have become purely a political organization and an arm of the executive branch. And what they have done is, in my opinion, obscene. And it is part of what's underlied the attacks that Peter and I have sustained from the press. If you think about it, the underlying thesis is, well, the CDC didn't say that, so therefore you're spreading medical misinformation. But now we learn who's really been spreading medical misinformation is the CDC. I think we're all owed an apology. I think that this data that they have been withholding, it's not just the 18 to 49-year-old triple boost efficacy data. It is a ton of information. They've been intentionally withholding it. That's why we've been attacked. It is unjust. We are the ones, it turns out we are completely vindicated. We have been speaking truth, and it's a truth that's been hidden from the American public. And more important, it's been hidden from other physicians, and it's been hidden from public health authorities. That article was powerful if you look through it. The New York Times tried to hide it, and they dropped it on President's Day, and they wrote it in ways that tries to obscure what's really going on. But what's going on here is criminal, in my opinion.
Yes, I wanted to ask, you just mentioned that would be severe consequences if a scientist performed something like that. Will there be consequences for the federal government?
So I've spoken repeatedly for those people that are within the government. We call them govies for slang. The folks working at the CDC that gave these interviews to the New York Times but wouldn't share their names. I think they are now at a point of choosing. There are going to be legal consequences, and I believe they have a choice. These government employees that have been participating in hiding this data, they can either be defendants or they can be witnesses. It is time for them to step up and speak out. And if they want to do a whistleblower action, speak to Senator Ron Johnson. His office is in business looking for this. And when the midterms are done and he's reelected and the Republicans take the Senate, he's going to be in charge of the Senate Subcommittee on Investigations. And I can tell you that he is ready to go.
Would you like
to? I just add to that this isn't the only area of concerns on data transparency. The FDA and Pfizer are being sued for release of their full dossier. Many of you know that there now is an accelerated release of the data. But the reluctance to release information on a biological product that each and every American is being asked, if not mandated, to take, the reluctance to do so should make everyone concerned. The other area of data transparency we're extremely concerned about is the Department of Defense epidemiological database information that was released on the January 24th Senate panel, a second opinion chaired by Senator Ron Johnson. And their lead attorney, Tom Renz, co-counsel Lee Dundas, presented the data. And the whistleblowers, in fact, did disclose their names, lead whistleblower being flight surgeon Teresa Long. And it's clear there is a many-fold increase across many disease categories among our servicemen year over year. The only thing that's changed is the administration of the vaccines in large numbers. So data transparency at this point in time will be an area that I believe Dr. Malone is correct, will be intensively investigated. And for those who are close to the data, I think they do have a choice coming up, and it's going to be a matter of them making the right choice and where they want to end up on what side of history.